Ethan got 4 raises in 8 years. His salary nearly tripled. His net worth, when he actually sat down and calculated it, was almost exactly where it started. His college roommate Leo got the same 4 raises, at the same company, on almost the same timeline. Leo's net worth is now well into 6 figures. Same raises, same timeline, same starting point. The difference isn't what either of them earned. It's what happened in the gap between every raise landing and every raise disappearing. This is the video we promised you, the real psychological cost of lifestyle inflation, and the one habit that actually stops it on purpose before it starts. Let's start with what lifestyle inflation actually feels like from the inside, because it doesn't feel like a mistake while it's happening. It feels like something you've earned. Ethan's first raise came with a new apartment, nicer, closer to work, the kind of place that matched how hard he'd been working to get here. His second raise came with a car upgrade. His third came with more frequent takeout, a gym membership he actually used, small quality of life things that all felt completely reasonable individually. His fourth raise came with a bigger apartment again, because the first nicer apartment didn't feel special anymore. It just felt like where he lived. None of these were reckless decisions. That's actually the important part. Ethan didn't buy anything wild, didn't go into unreasonable debt, didn't do anything anyone watching from the outside would call irresponsible. Every single choice made sense at the time it was made. That's exactly what makes lifestyle inflation so hard to catch. It's not one bad decision. It's a long sequence of individually reasonable ones that quietly add up to a person who earns 3 times what they used to and feels no different at all. Here's the psychological mechanism underneath all of it. Every time your circumstances improve, your brain quietly resets what counts as normal to match the new baseline. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. The nicer apartment feels amazing for about 6 weeks. Then it just becomes the apartment. The bar for what would make you feel like you're doing well silently moves up to meet wherever you already are, which means the feeling of progress never actually arrives. No matter how many raises show up, this is the actual psychological cost. And it's worse than just spending money. It's the specific experience of working harder, earning more, and somehow never feeling like you're getting ahead because you're not measuring yourself against where you started. You're measuring yourself against a finish line that keeps moving the exact same distance you do. There's a second cost layered on top of the first one. As Ethan's income rose, so did the people around him. New coworkers at a better job, a social circle with slightly more disposable income, restaurant choices, vacation expectations, the unspoken pricing of what a normal weekend costs, all of it quietly recalibrated to match his new circle, the same way his personal baseline had. Researchers sometimes call this the reference group effect. You don't just compare yourself to your past self. You compare yourself to whoever's currently around you. And as your income grows, the people around you usually do too. And there's a third cost, the one that only shows up when something goes wrong. Every lifestyle upgrade Ethan made also raised his monthly obligations: a bigger rent payment, a bigger car payment, subscriptions layered on subscriptions. Each one felt small on its own. Together, they meant his monthly expenses grew at almost exactly the same rate his income did. Which means despite tripling his salary, Ethan was, in a very real sense, exactly as financially fragile as he was 8 years ago. One job loss away from serious trouble. The entire time, at every single income level along the way. Leo's story looks almost identical on the surface. Same for raises. Same 8 years. The only difference happened in a 5-minute decision Leo made after his very first raise. A decision he then never had to think about again. When Leo got his first raise, he didn't decide how much to spend. He set up something simple. Half of every future raise, automatically, before it ever touched his checking account, would go straight into a retirement account. Not a percentage he'd revisit and negotiate with himself every time. A rule, set once, that ran on autopilot from that point forward. This isn't just a nice idea. It's based on a real, well-documented behavioral economics program called Save More Tomorrow, designed by researchers Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benartzi. The program asked employees to commit, in advance, to save a portion of their future raises, not their current paycheck, their future ones automatically. before that money ever became spendable. Because nobody has to feel the sacrifice of losing money they already have. They're only giving up part of an increase they haven't gotten yet. And that psychological framing changes everything. In the actual studies, participants who signed up for this kind of automatic future raise savings plan more than tripled their savings rate within a few years, without a single one of them describing it as a financial sacrifice. That's exactly what Leo did, by accident. 8 years before it had a name he knew, half of every raise automatically redirected, before his lifestyle ever got the chance to expand around it. Here's what made it psychologically painless for Leo in a way that willpower-based saving never is. He never had to decide to save. He never sat down monthly and fought the urge to spend more. The decision happened exactly once, at a moment when the money didn't exist yet, which is the easiest possible moment to make a rule, because there's nothing real to give up yet. Ethan's raises, by contrast, required him to actively resist upgrading every single time. For 8 straight years, 4 separate moments where the harder, less natural choice was required, and the current income, sitting right there in his account, was constantly whispering that he deserved to enjoy it. Willpower against real, spendable money in your account is a fight most people lose eventually. Not because they're weak, but because it's genuinely a harder fight than the one Leo set up for himself. So here's the actual habit, stated as simply as possible. The next time your income increases, a raise, a bonus, a new job with better pay, before you decide what to upgrade, decide what percentage of that specific increase gets automatically redirected before it ever hits your regular spending account. 50% is the number in the actual research. Even 20 or 30%, done automatically and immediately, produces most of the same effect. The key word is automatically, not a goal you'll get to. A transfer that happens before you ever see the number in a spendable place. This doesn't mean never upgrading anything. Ethan's new apartment wasn't a mistake. Leo upgraded his life too, over 8 years, just proportionally, with the other half of every raise. The difference was never spend versus don't spend. It was deciding in advance versus deciding never, letting each moment quietly decide itself by default. There's one more piece worth naming, because it's the part that usually gets skipped. This habit works specifically because it targets raises and bonuses, not your existing paycheck. Trying to suddenly redirect 50% of income you're already living on and already used to spending is a much harder, much more painful change that's real austerity, and it usually doesn't last. Redirecting half of an increase you've never actually had in your account yet costs you nothing you can feel, because there's no baseline being taken away. You're not losing anything. You're just letting your baseline stay exactly where it already was, one more time, while the extra quietly goes to work somewhere else. That distinction is the entire trick. Not discipline applied to money you already have, a rule applied to money you don't have yet. At the exact moment it's easiest to make that rule, because nothing real is on the table to lose. 8 years from now, there will be another version of you who either has, or doesn't have, the version of Leo's 5-minute decision already made. The raise you get next isn't the thing that determines which version you become. What you do in the 5 minutes after it lands is. If this changed how you think about your next raise, subscribe, because next week, we're telling the story of the woman who tracked every single dollar she spent for 30 days, expecting to find nothing interesting, and found the exact opposite. Same honest stories, same simple truth. See you in the next one.